Welcome to Layer the Alchemist, where we discuss all things heavy metal and hard rock. On today's episode, the headphones and accessories that I use when I listen to music. I did a video not too long ago about a kind of a beginner's guide to buying a turntable, some tips and advice. And I'm going to do an episode on receivers soon, but I thought I would do an episode on some of the accessories that I use when I'm listening to music. I gave a tour of my music room here, and in the music room all I have is my turntable. I also have a cassette player that's not currently hooked up at the moment, but so when I'm in my music room, I'm listening to records, and I tend not to listen with headphones when I'm in this room. But when I'm not in this room, when I'm outside, I go for walks, long bike rides and stuff. When I'm not in this room cleaning up around the house, I use headphones. When I go to bed at night, I like to listen to music to help me fall asleep, so I use headphones. So here are the headphones that I use. Now, I do not consider myself to be an audiophile. I'm somebody who I want to have good quality stuff, but I'm not really comfortable like going into really expensive stuff. I want it to sound good, but I also want it to be affordable. That's why I thought it would be fun to share some of these things with everybody, because none of this stuff that I have is like crazy expensive. And if you've delved at all into the audiophile world, you'll see that you can just spend an absolute, fortune if you want to on basically anything. All right, so my main is sort of listening headphones if I'm sort of sitting around and I want to listen to something when I'm going to bed at night. These are my Audio Technica ATH M50X. I got these at Guitar Center for about $150, and at Guitar Center they have a whole bunch of headphones where you can just put them on and listen. And I did a whole bunch of research, and what I look for in a headphone like this is I wanted an over-ear headphone that gave me some sound blockage. There's no like noise canceling feature or anything on this, but it's got sort of the soft pads, and it does block out a lot of sound. I do not like headphones that add extra bass. I know that that's a popular thing with like Beats headphones, and it seems like modern headphones are super bass heavy. I like it to be very neutral and flat. And when I was researching and listening to different headphones, that's what I found these to be. They were warm and flat, and that's what I like in a headphone. The other thing that's cool about this is whenever I buy headphones, they always seem to break at the point where the wire connects to the headphone. This disconnects here, so you can, if it, it's a much stronger connection right there. All right, so these are my headphones if I'm kind of sitting around listening to something before I go to bed at night. I do not use these as much as I used to. These are my Koss KSC35 headphones. These go over the ears. I do not like headphones that plug up your ears. The earbud style headphones, whether it be the Apple ones or even more expensive ones, I find that uncomfortable. I listen to my music a lot when I'm outside. I go for long walks and bike rides and stuff, and I don't like the feeling of everything being blocked off around me. So these just sort of go over your ears. They do not cancel out any sort of noise. So if you're outside in a really noisy environment, it's going to bleed through. Some people say that not having a tight seal on your ear, you're going to lose some bass, but I don't know. These get excellent reviews, and they're not at all expensive. They're like $20. And there was a point in time where I would buy these 2 at a time, because I used them so much that I would get about 6 to 9 months out of them, and then usually one of the headphones would go out, and I couldn't live without them. So I always had a backup pair that so I'd buy 2. When this one would break, I'd start using the second one. I'd order another pair, so I always had a pair ready to go. I think that they sound good. They've got a lot of frequency response on them. They get excellent reviews, and for the price, I think you can't go wrong. And even though, like I said, every 6 to 9 months they were breaking on me. For $20, it was well worth it for how much I used these. All right, well, I don't use these as much anymore because now I tend to use my wireless Koss headphones. That's Koss. These are KSC35 wireless headphones. They're pretty much the same as the other ones. They go over your ear. These are a little darker sounding. The other ones, the KSC75s, are a little bit brighter. These are a little darker sounding. I've sort of gotten used to these. It doesn't stream in the highest level Bluetooth. I mean, it's like pretty good quality. It's like the one step below. What is it, like 5.0, I think, is the highest. This is like a step below that. Again, this is for me when I'm outside and I'm walking around. And my iPhone, you know, iPhones now don't even have a headphone jack on them, and I was having issues with it getting banged around in my pocket, so I'm just going to go wireless. The charge lasts on these, I don't know, you can probably get, I'm going to guess, about 5 to 6 hours out of these. I've just gotten into a habit. I just plug them in to recharge them every night before I go to bed, because again, if I'm walking around cleaning up things in the house, I'm outside or something, listening to a podcast or listening to music, these are what I use, and I do really like these. These are my main headphones. I use these a lot. I also Bluetooth these to my television, so if everybody's in bed at night, I can be sitting there watching something on television, and you know, works for me. And it comes with a I think it's a lifetime warranty. Like the first pair that I had, something happened where I couldn't charge them. When you charge them with a I don't know what you call it. It's like an iPhone plug thing, but the plug is a little bit smaller, so it isn't the exact iPhone plug thing. And I just sent them back, and there was a problem. It wasn't connecting right to charge it, and they sent me new ones. So, and I've had these new ones now since then. Now I've done the same thing. I bought 2 pairs of these, so I have a second pair of these because if these were to break on me, I would really miss them. So I have a second pair that I keep, you know, just in case. So these are my wireless headphones. All right. Now, all right, the other accessory that I use, and where the heck did I pair this? All right, this is a, all right, let me backtrack for a second. When I'm listening to music, I have Amazon Music HD on my phone. And I've talked about this a long time ago. I did a thing on streaming, and I talked about Amazon Music HD. Amazon Music HD, it's a streaming service like Spotify, but you can, they offer music in different levels of quality. You get 16-bit 44.1 kilohertz, which is what a CD is. So you get, the minimum is CD quality. Then some tracks are available as 24-bit 96 kilohertz. Other tracks and albums are available as 24-bit 192 kilohertz. Now, not everything is available at that. It depends. For instance, I was listening to Judas Priest Firepower. That's available at 24-bit 96 kilohertz. Ozzy's stuff is 2496. Older stuff from the 70s tends to be 16441, which is CD quality, which is still really good. All right, so what is the bit and kilohertz thing? What does that mean? I put my glasses on here. It's about to get serious here. I want to make sure I read this correctly. I've got to start wearing my glasses more. Usually I make notes that are on the computer screen, and I just did, I think it was the Halloween video that I did, and because my eyes, I can see it on the screen, but sometimes it's a little hard for me to read. I said somebody's, one of the guys in the name, the guys in the band, their name wrong, and somebody jumped all over me about it, and it was just because, you know, I didn't have my glasses on. So, all right, this is what bit and kilohertz mean, and I took this from headphonesty.com, all right? So I just copied and pasted this from there, and I think this is a really simple explanation. You can get into a way more in-depth explanation of this. The bit depth determines how much information can be stored. A sampling with 24 bit depth can store more nuances and hence more precise than a sampling with 16-bit depth. To be more explicit, let's see what is the maximum number of values each bit depth can store. 16-bit, we're able to store 65,536 levels of information. 24-bit, you can do 16,777,216 levels of information. All right, now in digital audio recordings, sample. All right, so now the next thing is the sample rate. In digital audio recordings, sample rate is analogous to the frame rate in video. The more sound data samples gathered per period of time, the closer to the original analog sound the captured data becomes. In a typical digital audio CD recording, the sampling rate is 44.1 kilohertz. If you're wondering why the frequency is so high, when the human ear can only hear frequencies up to 20 kilohertz at best. All right, so you're getting clearly with Amazon Music HD, certain albums are available above CD quality. Well, the problem is that depending on what you're listening to, and for me, I'm listening on my iPhone. The iPhone only does 24-bit, I think 441 on its own. So to squeeze out a little bit more, I have this, what's called a Dragonfly Black, and it's what it is it's the DAC. It converts a digital audio converter. I believe that's what this is. This is called. And what you do here is you can plug this directly into your computer if you wanted to. In order to plug it into my iPhone, I had to get this adapter that allows me to plug this in, and it also allows me to charge at the same time. So when I plug this in, I'm able to get 24-bit 96 kilohertz out of my iPhone. Some people, many people, would argue that you can't really hear the difference between 1644.1 and the higher bit rates, the higher kilohertz. Some people would argue a lossless a high rate MP3 like Spotify, for instance, does 32 kbs, I think it is. I'm not exactly sure what that means, but kilobits per second, I don't know. That's a lossy file, but many people would argue that you can't tell, that the average person cannot tell the difference between a 32 kbs file on an MP3 and a 16-bit 441 kilohertz. Now, to get that from Spotify, you have to have the paid tier. Kilobits per second. Yes, that's what it means. I wanted to make sure I got that right. So Spotify can go up to 320 kilobits per second. That's a lossy file. They're taking out some high information and lower range information. People argue you can't hear the difference. For me, without getting into a whole thing here in this video, I would say that when I listen to the Amazon Music HD and these higher quality things, to me it seems more spacious. There seems to be more detail. I can hear the lyrics a little bit better. Songs that I've listened to forever, and all of a sudden I listen to it and I'm like, oh, that's what he's saying there. There's just a little bit more separation. There's more clarity. There's more high end and low end and depth to the entire sound. So I think it makes a difference. So to squeeze out that little bit more, I have my Dragonfly Black. Okay. All right, let's move on from that. Next, I have my one MII B06 TX 5.0 transmitter, Bluetooth transmitter. You say, what the heck is this? All right, this, I hook this up to, this transmits a Bluetooth signal. Remember I said I have my wireless Koss headphones. It comes with a wire that you hook this up. You can hook this up to the back of your stereo. Now, I have older receivers. Pioneer SX430 is one of them. It's a 70s receiver. Both of my receivers are old Pioneers 70s receivers, way before any of this Bluetooth technology. So this allows me, I take a signal from the tape out of the back of my receiver into this. I pair my wireless headphones to this, and now if I want to listen to a record while I'm walking around the house, and this has very good range, I can walk almost anywhere in my house, I can do that. It transmits, it sends a Bluetooth signal to my headphones. So I can listen to this to my vinyl records anywhere in the house, hook this up to my receiver, the tape out on my receiver, and it sends the signal as a Bluetooth. And it sends it in like a high quality Bluetooth too. It's not like a cheap Bluetooth. All right, now if I want to connect my phone to my receiver, I have my Audio Engine B1. This does high quality Bluetooth transmission, apx HD. When I first tried to do this Bluetooth from my phone to my, remember old 70s receiver, Pioneer 70s receiver, I bought this cheap thing from Best Buy, this little $20 thing. And I noticed it was like, man, the sound quality in this is terrible. It sounded like a really lossy, like low quality MP3. And I researched and I realized like, all right, you got to get a real Bluetooth receiver. Now this is a receiver, so I can send from my phone to here to my receiver. In my other room, I have another receiver set up too. So if I want to listen to something in the other room, I can Bluetooth right to my stereo from using this device. This was kind of pricey. This was, I think, like $150 maybe. This one was not very pricey. It was like $40. The Dragonfly is like, I think it was like $100. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure that was $99. And I think I mentioned my wireless headphones were like about $40, $50. So, all right, there you go. There are the audio accessories that I use that help me enjoy my music. It's sort of like I live in both worlds. I've modernized some of my older stuff, my older Pioneer receivers with my Bluetooth transmitter and my Bluetooth receiver. I can send Bluetooth, or I can make it so the receiver can receive the Bluetooth, so it sort of makes them modern in that respect. I'm able to get this higher quality audio, squeeze it out of my iPhone with my extra accessory here. I've got my wireless headphones, I got my wired headphones. All right, so there you go. Those are my headphones and audio accessories that I like to use. Does anybody use any of these things? Does anybody, what do you guys use? What kind of headphones do you guys use? What kind of, you got any kind of cool little gadgets and stuff like that that you use with your system in your setup? Let me know in the comments down below. Like and subscribe. Until we see you again, make sure you rock hard, ride free.